We're going to finish the 11-1 areas of parallelograms and triangle notes. We're going to talk about triangles now. So if you flip your notes to the section that we skipped for triangles, the formula that you should write on your orange sheet is very similar to the formula for parallelograms, except we're going to take 1/2 the base times the height. And again, like I stated earlier, sometimes the height's inside the triangle, sometimes it's outside. Very similar to the parallelogram. So I'm going to write that on our formula sheet. I'm sorry, on our notes. Area equals 1/2 base times height. And again, I'm going to highlight our base in blue in this example and in this example. And I'm going to do our height again in pink. So you'll notice with the triangle, they're still perpendicular, the base and the height. So let's get started on an example. For the first one, our base is going to be 19. And our height is going to be 30. So we're not counting that 27 as part of the base because it's not the base of the shaded triangle. So the directions tell us to find the perimeter. So if you notice here, I can find my area. I have base and height, but I don't have that side here. So I'm going to have to use Pythagorean theorem, similar to what we did with parallelograms. So I'm going to ignore the shaded part and I'm just going to look at this white triangle. That's why that 27 is there. So I have 27 squared plus 30 squared equals c squared. 27 squared is 729. 30 squared is 900. I'm going to add those two up. And when I take the square root, I get about 40.4. So that is 40.4. I'll zoom in there for you. So again, it asks us for our perimeter. So our perimeter is going to be around the three sides now around our triangle. Those three sides are 41, 40.4, and 19. When I add those all up, I get about 100.4 inches, because remember, perimeter is just our units. Area is when we start squaring it. So the biggest mistake I see when people do triangles is that they forget to take half. So don't forget, when we're finding our area, it's 1/2 my base times my height. And you can plug it into a calculator as you see it. You could take half of one of the numbers, so I could do 19 times 15. However you do it, you should get the same answer, which is 285. My units squared, because it's area. Let's try the next one. So again, I have my base, which is 29. But I'm now missing my height. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do Pythagorean theorem with this white triangle to find that height. And if you remember, I'm not finding C, because C is going to be my hypotenuse, or 13. So I want to plug that in for either A or B. So So I'm going to just call it h. H squared plus 6 squared equals 13 squared. I'm going to subtract 36, and I get 133. And when I take the square root of that, I get about 11.5. I want to plug that right in so I remember what that 11.5 is. So now I'm good to find the area, but I can't find the perimeter because now I'm missing this side. So this is a problem where we have to do Pythagorean theorem twice. So now I'm going to ignore this white triangle and look at the gray shaded one. I have 11 squared plus 29 squared equals c squared. 11 squared is 132. I'm sorry, it's 11.5 squared. Sorry about that. I wrote 11.5 squared is 132.25. 29 squared is 841. Equals c squared. When I add those two up, I get 973.25. And the square root of that is about 31.2. So this is all just setting up the problem. We haven't even found the perimeter or area yet. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So remember, we're finding the shaded triangle. So my perimeter is 31.2 plus 29 plus 11.5. It's going to be 71.7. And then my area is 1/2 my base times my height, which is going to be we have a decimal, it'll be 166.75. All right, now we're going to finish the back page. We did the top two. We're going to do these bottom two. So again, we have the base, but we're missing the height. So I like to write the formula out. Area equals 1/2 base times height. My area is 357. My base is 34. My height is x. So we can multiply both sides by 2 to cancel that 1/2 and make this double. I'm just going to take half of 34, because if you remember, you only have to take half of one of the numbers. Divide both sides by 17. And we get 21 equals x. When we go to the next one, our base is only this shaded part. So what I'm going to do here is I have to take the entire bottom, which is the whole thing, is 41, and subtract 11. So our base is only 30 centimeters. And again, we don't know our height. So area equals 1/2 base times height. My area is 165. My base is 30. My height is x. Half of 30 is 15. Divide both sides by 15. And we will get 11 equals x. And again, we could plug our answers in to check. 1/2 of 34 times 21. Plug that right into your calculator. You'll get 357, so that one works. Over here, 1/2 of 30 times 11. You'll get 165, so that one works as well.